We provide one-on-one individual therapy from emotional therapists who do family therapy, one-on-one therapy to our kids every day at all of our campuses. And what happens is about 28% of our kids on any given day are getting one-on-one individualized therapy support. So that's another way that we are working to build a culture of asking for and receiving help, where kids who need extra help, I mean, look, on a random survey every year, our kids take this test where it assesses what sort of adverse childhood experiences our kids have been through. And since COVID, Sheldon, that number has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
So 30% of our incoming ninth graders on this anonymous survey have experienced 4 or more adverse childhood experiences. That could be incarceration, drug overdose, sexual abuse, violence, any of those things. Our kids experiencing them or witnessing somebody in their house experiencing them. So our kids come full of so many things, so much hardship. But again, that resilience that we're trying to build, that voice that Paulo Freire imagined, or as you and I said, that relationship, so that when we get to the math classroom, our kids are ready to do math. Yeah. They can like open up a piece of their hearts and minds and learn about algebraic expression. Otherwise, they're full of something else potentially. And how would we know unless we created that space for kids?
Well, how did you create a space? Because a lot of folks will say, oh, I don't have the funding to provide. Now, do you have traditional school counselors, or do you have like mental health specialists, or is there like, tell us a little bit more about that.
Thank you for that question. So we do not have traditional school counselors.
Okay.
We blew that up into a 3-pronged counseling process in our schools. So from the economics, the question about how does that get funded? Mm-hmm. We are lucky to be in Philadelphia region, where there are many universities who have family therapy programs, masters of family therapy. So we have certified family therapists on our staff, not many. We pay those folks. Mm-hmm. But then there are interns in family therapy at University of Pennsylvania or Drexel University or Temple University who are becoming fully certified family therapists and have to do their hours of experience in the field. And so they work full time for us. And in exchange, our certified family therapists support our up and coming family therapists. And those up and coming family therapists work on our team, seeing kids one-on-one all day long. And so that way it's almost cost neutral. The second kind of counseling support is what we call academic advising, which is having our academic advisors help link our students and their families to the supports we offer, such as the power of yet. So that if a student is not doing well in something, an academic advisor's job is to review grades and talk with students and families and teachers and make sure the linkages are happening so that kids are taking advantage of the power of yet, or our after school centers where kids are getting one-on-one help from peers or from adults, or they're going to family therapy with somebody who can help them with whatever's going on for them sort of at home in a hardship kind of way. So that's the second kind of counselor we have. And the third is a college counselor, because our mission and vision is that every and any kid can go to college or do something similar. And then we want to make sure we have adults in the building who are helping to get our kids onto the next road, whatever that is. In fact, of our 300 graduates last year, 151 individual colleges accepted them for $24 million of scholarships. So college, whatever's next for kids, I believe can be attained by anybody, as long as the school has high expectations, rigorous supports, kids are working hard and believe they have fire in their bellies and believe they can get to wherever it is they want to go next.
Wow. So just the levels of mental health support that you have there, and you said there's multiple. So I know sometimes we'll just have just a school counselor and that's it. And again, funding is often an issue, and that school counselor might be like a 500-to-1 ratio at that level as well. But it sounds like you have multiple layers of support for students. And obviously that shows that it works, because you just said, $24 million worth of scholarship opportunities for your graduating class. I mean, so that does work. Is this something that was like when you founded the school, was that part of the very beginning, or is this something where partnerships kind of developed over time, or something happened to where it's like, you know what, maybe we need to try to partner with or bring in some more support for students? Or how did all that come about?
For the first school, our co-founder, his name is Alphonse Pignataro, and he is a certified family therapist. And he built this program with the local universities right away. I don't think I said it clearly enough a couple minutes ago, but when we have our intern family therapist working with our students, that's cost neutral. We don't pay for that. We are giving an opportunity. Now, these are younger family therapists and they're growing, but they're also being mentored by Alphonse and his team of certified family therapists. So that was built from the fabric on day one into our community. The power of yet has evolved over time. I mean, we all as educators have heard about the growth mindset versus a fixed mindset, or as you said at the beginning, asset-based teaching. So wrestling with that over time, this has been the best manifestation that we have come up with inside a traditional and rigorous academic environment to allow kids to prove themselves over time.
Nice. I love this method. And I like to ask you a question because I mean, obviously sounds like, I mean, there's always room for growth, but it sounds like what you have going on right now is pretty established at some point. But I know that there's maybe school leaders right now, or there's some teachers right now that are listening and thinking to themselves, wow, what we're hearing it sounds amazing. What are some things that I can do maybe tomorrow, or maybe something that we can work towards at our school? What kind of tips or strategies could you give to our listeners out there who, again, loving what they're hearing, but they don't have the infrastructure set up? What kind of tips or tools would you give out to those who are listening to this?
One of my favorite experiences in graduate school at University of Pennsylvania when I was in my doctorate was a professor who would bring his mail. He was a principal at a local high school, and he would bring his mail from his mailbox to class. And he would read out loud what the letter was. And then it would either go into his do something with it or his trash can pile. And what I learned there was profound, I think. That there's so much in public education that's noise, and trying to figure out where the noise is and make sure the noise goes in the trash can or strategically gets assigned a small portion of your day so that the things that really matter, like the grammar of school and making sure that kids have voice and get opportunities like the ones I'm talking about, can play a higher and better part of your day than what goes in sort of your mailbox on the day-to-day. Remember too that school was sort of made up. We made up school. We made up the Carnegie unit. We created this thing called the Carnegie unit, which has not served our kids, in my opinion, especially our kids of color, especially our kids who are coming from places of poverty or under-resourced environments or hardship of any kind. We made up this arbitrary unit that is affecting the delivery of our schools. And I think that you as educators have a divine responsibility to reinvent school so that it's still rigorous, but so that our kids can prove themselves in different and alternate ways. For example, think about a student who's had incredible hardship, but who's been working your program of going to family therapy every day and is really winning and learning an incredible amount. What if that student could write about their experience and we could assign them credit for that? Why does the Carnegie unit have to be only in certain things? So that, I guess what I'm saying is I would invite all educators to think about how to use the resources and pull the levers that you have in front of you, though they may be limited, to make sure that the most important things, kids learning, kids developing resilience, kids actuating their fullest potential, can be achieved. And I think you have the right to do that as an educator.
Oh yeah. And powerful words there. At the end of the day, take what you got, use the resources that you have available in front of you. What is it? Make lemonade out of lemon, whatever the
well, and kids are so deserving of that. And I've never met a student who didn't, when given the right sunlight and the right water and the right soil, I've never met a student not thrive. So it is our job to provide those three simple things every day, no matter what's going on in your mailbox. That has to be done.